started. Good evening, everyone. This is the meeting of the Triton District Communications Committee for February 28th, 2019. We are meeting tonight upstairs at Raleigh Historic Town Hall. I'm happy to say we have heat.
Wore my sweater last night, so
actually, it's too warm. The first order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have representatives from the Triton School District, obviously, also from Raleigh and the other two towns. Just
yeah. So Ronnie emailed me information as a sewer meeting, but Will McDonald was supposed to be here.
So I will say she emailed me today. I am now. Will emailed me today. I am now scheduled to go meet with Bill and the Board of Selectmen dates the 6th next Wednesday at 4 p.m. I want to do a little workshop to this was specifically about landlord tenants. So her, I said, I don't know why she wasn't meeting, but she said doing that. She wasn't meeting.
There'll be no mention of budget issues. It's hard to do that.
Yeah. Just relating this.
Okay. Okay, so has everyone had a chance to look at the meeting notes of our last meeting on January 31? Sure. Any questions or comments? I have none. Okay. All right, next item on the agenda is landlord-tenant agreement update. We received verbal updates on the review of proposed landlord-tenant agreements and any actions taken by each member town.
We already have yours.
We already have Robert's.
I did just get something from Tracy Blaze from Newbury's council that forwarded something, so I have that now. I haven't had a chance to forward it on yet. And again, I'm meeting with Salisbury and Board of Selectmen to get several questions. Again, the biggest change is for the town of Salisbury, so I'm meeting with them next Wednesday, 6th, and that is the sole topic we discussed. So hopefully the next BCC, which is 21st of March.
Yes.
We'll be able to have some actual meeting discussion about that.
Good. Anything else? Anything more? Okay, next is the Triton FY20 budget. To discuss the FY20 Triton tentative budget as voted by the Triton School Committee on February 6, 2019, and the ongoing budget process.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm saying I just got a text from Alicia saying she's going to be late.
No.
This was very much. So I was buzzing in my pocket. She's coming.
So I was thinking, do you want us to go over the budget? Do you want to?
I've heard that before.
I was going to say, yes.
In terms of process, where are we now, and where are we going? What's next?
Yeah, so
We think, unless someone has a different idea.
yeah, I mean, we can start there. So we have a tentative budget. We voted that on February 13th. The tentative budget I voted is the $1.721 million increase. There was some discussion on February 6th, I believe it was, which several town officials were in attendance. There was some discussion about adding some additional costs. Ultimately, the school committee on the 13th did approve the 1.721, which was the rough ballpark figures we were using up until that point. It is roughly, again, just in summary form, it's a level services budget. The 1.721 is about $1.5 million of that is salaries and special education increase costs. If we were to take out, there were some other figures we were talking about last night, it was raised. If we were to take out the increase in special education costs, we would be below 2.5% actually. Again, this is not a statement about special education.
Just the increase.
Just the increase. I'm sorry. Yes, just the increase. So that's not a statement about special education.
Sure.
They're needed services, they're important services, they're required services. The reality is we need some help from the state in paying for those services. So I'm not sure if we want to, there's more detail we want to, we certainly can go through more detail, but it is primarily, there's a couple repairs for high school bleachers. I'm trying to think of what else that wasn't straight normal services, heating, some maintenance costs. Was it better if we pointed these at us while we're talking?
Sure.
Is that better? Less feedback. I can hear myself louder than I can hear. So there's a few maintenance repairs that are becoming necessary, code violations. But other than that, as I said, it's primarily the cost of doing business this year carried into next year. So, if you have to answer questions or...
Did I hear somewhere you were able to add a late school bus? That's something you wanted to, the committee wanted to do.
Yes, so there was the discussion the 6th of February centered around the restoration of late buses, which is roughly $100,000 to add them back 4 days a week at all schools, which is what we previously had. It's actually more than 110,000. And then there was the discussion about adding 2 social workers, clinical social workers, again, not caseworkers, but clinicians. Ultimately, that would have added in total about $280,000. That money was not added between the discussion on the 6th and the discussion and the approval on the 13th. What changed was there were 2 technology costs. There was some backup, G Suite backup, and some iPads and some social media backup. That about $33,000 was pulled out of that. Needed, but we can survive without that. And that $33,000 would restore late buses at the middle school and high school campus 2 days per week. So again, it's not restoring late buses. The biggest hit, it's impactful at all schools. It's most impactful at the middle school and the high school. Students accessing extra help, athletics, activities, which obviously is much more expansive at the middle and high school than at the elementary level. So ideally, we'd love to put them back at all schools, but there was that is the one thing, right? It's the one, that $33,000 is the one thing that changed between February 6th and February 5th.
Right, so that didn't change the bottom line.
Bottom line, 1.721 state exactly.
Well, it's good you were able to do that.
Yes, and that's...
I hope if you have any extra money in the budget, I think you can restore it to 100%. I think that's late buses.
I think that is a shared sentiment. I don't want to speak on behalf of the committee, but that has been something we've talked about in the past 2 years since we cut them. That there, at the middle school and high school, there has been a significant impact on students accessing, as I said, everything from activities to athletics, to being able to go see teachers after school for extra help. So.
I apologize that I haven't been as involved as I have in the past. It's been a little bit more difficult. No warehouse.
This is a level services, so this does not change anything.
That's good to hear.
Yep. So the 24 roughly FTEs, the 24 people we laid off last year, this doesn't restore any of those. This maintains what we have. And, the discussion we had, I should say since the beginning of the discussions in the fall, and then with the presentations in January, where the principals and district administrators presented to the committee, everyone said, of course we want to restore. Of course there's 10 years now of cuts that we would like to restore. I think we're still providing quality education. Could we be doing better? Yes, most districts could if we had more money. But we're good. We found out compared to last June when the budgets were finalized to September, there was a lot of discussion, a lot of drama, a lot of angst. But we've leveled out. We're good. We're in a place that we can carry forward. So that was the discussion. Was let's just make sure we don't take any further steps backwards.
Right.
So that is what this budget does.
So Renton, you never got the revenues that you were expecting to get for the new stadium, though, right?
No. No. So those, so that's 100% me. Brian's bad at estimating. So when we started the stadium process, Dana, take me back. When did we start? 2011?
Yes.
2011,
2011.
So back in 2010-11, when we started these discussions, we would have been one of the first synthetic fields in the area. By the time we committed to the project, it opened, came online in the fall of 16. Over the course of those years, what we anticipated would be all of the interested use. It disappeared because everyone created their own fields. There are local soccer clubs that created multiple indoor fields in southern New Hampshire, Seacoast United, and so ultimately the interest we thought we had, it just dried up. So we do still have some. There's a rugby group that uses it, and there are still groups that do come in, but it's not the interest that we thought we had. So,
Are people able to use it if there's nobody here or the gates locked?
that does not ever work.
It's a terrific walking track.
So,
Right?
Yeah, it should be used. I mean, that was one of the discussions where, there are communities that put track and fields in and lock it up tight. Of course, if Sean, the athletic director, were here, or Chris Walsh, they would say, wow, we would love to lock it to keep it protected, but now it's absolutely available. If you go there at 5 o'clock in the morning, a day like today, but in the spring and the summer and the fall, people routinely jog in the track, 5:30. So no, it's absolutely used, not heavily, but the tennis courts, absolutely used by the community. And it is, whether it's a walking track around the track or the track itself. There are rules about being on the turf to not damage it, but it's when it's the summer, spring, and fall, pretty much used round the clock. The lights are on at dusk and they're on the 9 o'clock, and it's pretty much full.
That's good. It's protects for people.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Brian, I think at our last meeting, you indicated that there could be further decreases in the health insurance line.
Yes.
Is that still the case?
Yes, so that is still in the process. So the Public Employee Committee is meeting with the Personal Negotiation Subcommittee. Spent 2 hours today, meeting with our consultant and the PEC reps. So, so this budget carries a 0%. The committee set a informal goal that they want to save more than that. Still executive session, but that the target is less than this. So that would provide additional savings. Would then be a discussion of, does that reduce assessments, or does that address some of the other discussions that we've had, things to keep that within no more than the assessment.
Are there other things that could happen that would cause the budget to go down? Do you want to go down, or is it pretty much this is what we're looking at?
I
Well,
appreciate that. So
more state aid, I don't know.
Yeah, so I would say the most volatile, and again, this is universal, we talk to any school district, is special education. When we have a student move across a border, move into town, or a student who's outplaced, those can happen at any point. Right now, we're confident that the assumptions we've made in that $550,000 increase for out of district and hundreds a month for other services is good. We're there. There's been some ebbs and flows, some people who we assumed would not, and now some people who we did not assume will. But that, I believe, is fairly stable. That's the one variable, really. Healthcare we just talked about. Other than that, it's all set costs. It's contractual costs. State aid, we met with Diana DiZoglio and Senator DiZoglio, and I think would echo her thoughts that there's good momentum on language for corrections for the future, and we're hopeful. But I think we got to make some safe assumptions that we're not going to get a whole lot more this year.
No, I was going to say that when we met with Senator DiZoglio, so we also met with the superintendent and chairs of a number of other the area school committees, Newport, Kentucky, North Andover, Amesbury. So it was not just us. Everybody, the immediate thing was, how can you help us with special education costs, because they're enormous. There were a lot of ideas that were tossed out there, even just helping out with special education transportation, which is not currently a reimbursable item. So even though we see a reimbursement on a tuition, a partial reimbursement on tuition, if the tuition's high enough, we're paying for a van. We can put savings in where we can and try to share vans and things like that, but it's still a high cost when you think about essentially a driver for one or a few students going to a specific location. So I think she had some ideas on that. Her kind of take on it, what I took away was she feels like it was sort of a dare on the governor's part with all of these education reform legislation bills coming in to get something done by April. And if something's not done by April, then there's not going to be a lot of movement in the budget this year. If there is something done by April, which is a very tight timeline for the legislature, then there could be more movement this year. So that doesn't help us because we have to vote this by the middle of March. So I mean, I would, if they're looking at April, I think they're going to be pushing to the very last minute if something happens. But
Yeah, more likely towards the end of the fiscal year.
possibly, yes.
And our message has been, don't rush this,
Yeah.
do it wrong, and think this is education reform, right? This is not a 25-year solution if we're getting an extra $20,000 a year. That helps a lot.
No,
So,
no.
Yeah, and all the districts there were in the same boat. We all have decreasing enrollments. We're all seeing per pupil minimum aid rather than increases in our foundation budget. So it was all, yeah, with new report. So they were getting, but it was small.
it would seem
That's
a
6,000.
slighter uptick.
You're gonna put the money from the towns that really, because that shows up more, it's more of an impact, from PR point of view or whatever. You get to certain towns that really are, or the other towns that are like on the fringes maybe, like us and stuff like that, that's a little more difficult, I think.
The problem is that the formula, again,
Yeah.
the formula itself still sees Newbury, Raleigh, and Salisbury
Yeah.
as wealthy towns. It's land value, you're coastal, we're all coastal, and it's aggregate wealth. We've had this discussion. It's the total, it's not a median income, it's the total wealth within a town.
Georgetown is kind of similar to Raleigh. Although Georgetown gets much more than we do.
Well, even, I mean, I sat next to Justin, the superintendent, Justin Bartholomew, and Wayne Adams, the superintendent and chair in Nantucket, and this is not to pit people against one another, because we're actually working together in Nantucket, which is nice. But they get $5 million more in state aid than we do, simply because theoretically they regionalized 1 year before us. The incentives were better, and they're Merrimack Valley, and we're Boston North Shore, so we're inherently a richer community. So again, what I was saying to the Senator Zaglio is that the whole, don't just, all of these solutions throw money into a formula that does nothing but spend a lot more money the same way. We need to fix the formula, just not, again, we're never going to start from scratch, but we have to somehow go back to the drawing board in some capacity to talk about how we reallocate money. And what my point was, and some people will disagree, special ed costs are a unifying agent, right? Everyone is seeing those. So maybe rather than circuit breaker being any amount above 45,000, 75%, maybe there's a separate reimbursement for special education that's more significant. Dump $1 billion into that rather than a formula that's going to disproportionately push that money on the state. Again, not popular, but
Yeah,
those are types of things.
it's not.
Yeah.
Was there any talk of the building again? No?
I asked
Yeah.
Associate Commissioner Wolfson about that. It's, yeah. I mean, there's a commission too, right? There's a commission on state or transportation efficiencies that Senator Tarr appointed me to as his representative. Happened last June, and there hasn't been a single peep about that. So it's in the works. I guess that's going to be in the works for quite a while. And as Senator Zaglio said, she's put forward some great legislation, and she tries to not include subject to appropriation because that's the killer. As long as it says subject to appropriation, whether we're talking about regional transportation or Chapter 70 or circuit breaker, if it's subject to appropriation, there's no teeth. And she, obviously she's in the minority, wants to put forward legislation legislation that doesn't give us the option. It doesn't give the legislators a free pass. Because if there's a free pass, why wouldn't we take it?
Sure.
So,
I mean, we were able to talk her through kind of what we needed, and all the districts that were there were all in the same boat. So we were able to say, this is what would help us, this is what would help us. Her plan was to take that, so she knows Senator Lewis, who's the new chair of the Education Committee, the Senate Education Committee. So her plan was to kind of take those, roll them all in, and she's got her own committee to serve on, to bring those to Senator Lewis ahead of time and be able to talk to him about what some of the alternatives might look like and how they might fit in with what's currently out there on the table. He's a very vocal proponent of the Promise Act, which is Senator Shane Diaz's legislation. I will say, the Rural Schools Coalition actually held a day on the Hill today and went and had a press conference and kind of a debriefing, and then went and visited a bunch of legislators. And Senator Lewis sat in on that, and they talked heavily, from what I was able to see, about this issue of towns with decreasing enrollments.
Mm-hmm.
They have some very perfect, specific parameters that they've set that we don't fall into. We're 4 students per square mile, or something like that.
it's 40, and we're like 40.3.
Yeah. So we're.
But the income levels were not.
Yeah.
We're not there.
So in that, they understand that, that's a step forward. If something like that was broadened, then maybe we could fit under that umbrella as well. They're advocating for a $400 per student, I think it is. Yeah, boost.
Right. So what I've learned is that there's 3 types of education right now, 3 types of education funding that are needed. One is the Promise Act, which is the, chapter, yeah, but it's to the big cities that are, they're all especially healthcare, sports, English language learners, all that. So that the Promise Act is going to cover that. Then there's another need, that's the rural towns, which are mostly up in Berkshire, the west part of the state, some on the Cape, and they have the age rural. That's huge. I mean, they need help as well. Then there's us, and we fall in other towns that are similar to us. That if we stay in this trajectory, we won't have a school and we won't have a town. So that is what needs to be kind of like, my hope is to try to get that group of people and get them loud and vocal, like the other two. Because that's the only way we're getting any money.
Yeah. We're not actually that different from a true, what they would consider to be a true rural school, like a Mohawk Trail Regional School District. It looks a lot different, but the effects are the same, just more drastic for someone like Mohawk Trail
They make
or
a lot
Indian
less
Valley.
money and they're more spread out and plus
Yeah.
transportation, so.
Right.
Yeah.
But the,
But that's not that different from what we're experiencing here. It's fewer students
But
per
it's the
square
wealth.
mile.
It's
and-
the wealth.
Yeah, it's the wealth. Yep. Yeah.
It's the form. Which again, the Promise Act thinks it's fixing.
yes,
That's the danger, is that those aren't disparate efforts. The Promise Act authors believe that solves the problem. Just like the authors of the Chapter 70 formula believe it's the right formula. It's not. But there is, I mean, there's more talk about it every year. It's gotten louder. I mean, it was the State House News Service was pushing out information today about rural schools and low enrollment. So this has never been discussed, right? It's now kind of like the third rail is being discussed. That's progress. Slow. I'll take it on over.
So I think kind of our discussion internally has been, when I'm talking to Linda, who's heading policy and advocacy, and Brian, has been that we need to, again, go back and identify those towns that look like us and make sure that they understand that the Promise Act is not going to do what they needed to do, because everybody understands they feel a financial pain, right? And when you have something coming that you think is going to solve your financial pain, you kind of glom onto it and you say, great, let's go for it. But I don't think there's a real understanding of what I can say for sure. There is not a real understanding of what it's doing for many of the districts.
which is frightening.
It is absolutely frightening, yeah. And I think my message when when I've been talking to other school committee members is, please do your homework. And if you don't have a great understanding, don't be afraid to go to your business official. Don't be afraid to go to your superintendent. Find somebody who understands it and can either explain it to you or at least give you an idea of what the impact would be, because you need to know. It can't be you accepting, something you received in the mail or someone telling you from outside of your district that this is the effect that it's going to be. You really need to have someone in your district doing these numbers and figuring out what it's going to mean to you. But I think we need to make them ask that question. That's been kind of my take on it. So I don't know. I sent you and Neil and Ronnie that list of all the districts that would not see any additional aid through the Foundation Budget Review Commission findings. It's going to be a concerted, I think, deliberate effort to try and figure out.
I'm still playing telephone tag with the guy because Massachusetts Selectmen's Association, so I'm still,
Yeah.
I haven't got that phone.
Brian and I are also headed to the Mass Association of Regional Schools legislative breakfast tomorrow. So a lot of those people, so 60% of regional schools, good times. 60% of regional schools would not see any benefit from the Foundation Budget Review Commission. So we'll have an opportunity to hopefully do some networking there and be able to. I feel like once people are betrayed, feel like they're betrayed, they're very willing to speak out. It's getting to that point to say what we've been told is not true, and now I need to go out and share that with somebody else.
Right.
And that's every time a board of selectmen or a school committee endorses the Promise Act. That's just one more little notch to make it happen. And it's just, the amount of ill information out there is astounding. And that was one of the things we're pushing this way. If there's legislation that's put forward, that would be a requirement within the Senate, the House, some side, that you can't put language forward without an estimate for 351 cities and towns. If you're making a financial proposal, you cannot not include Appendix A, impact on 351 cities and towns. You just can't.
Model it out.
And then that would slow legislation down. We'd have far fewer laws.
That's a meaningful legislature, you don't tell you what your impact is.
Right.
That's huge.
So just be an informed voter, right? I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm going to tell you you need to vote.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you all the information you need.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to judge you for your opinion, but
Don't pretend.
don't pretend.
And I would say our legislators have been great because I don't think they've obviously got a lot of different things going on in their districts, but I went back down the list of co-sponsors today and it is enormous, and not one of our legislators for the Triton district, Triton towns was on it. So that's nice to see.
Yeah. Did you ever hear back from Senator Torres?
Yeah, they did. They were basically just given the language. So she said, this is what it says. And I said, I know that. I'm looking for kind of an interpretation of what that means down the road. And she was basically getting the same information over and over again. And I said, it's good. Thank you. I appreciate you trying to go and track down information on the Blue Ribbon account.
Right.
To me, it's good that you have to work on the governor, because from what I've been reading, he seemed to be, he said there were things that he didn't like, but he says overall, I think he's pretty satisfied with, what they came up with as far as,
Who's he?
the
Governor. He actually has his own bill. So he's happy with his bill.
Yeah.
He's duking it out with the House bill, which was filed by Representative Tucker, who's out of Peabody, I think.
Area, I don't think it's Peabody, but
Yeah.
it's his.
Which is also kind of duking it out with Senator Chang Diaz's bill. So,
But the bill doesn't go far enough to
Yeah.
help the
oh no,
schools like what we fall in, so.
yeah.
Just different versions of putting different amounts of money in different pots, that's all it is.
I think most of the criticism that I've seen of the governor's bill says that it does not go far enough for any district. That's kind of one of the big things that I've heard about it, is even those urban districts, it forces them to pay more, which they can't necessarily do. So even though it says it's putting $1 billion of funding in, that's not all state funding that's coming in. It's a combination of putting some state funding in and also forcing those districts to put more of their own money in. So it's a total amount, not a mass funded amount, a state funded amount. So there's a lot of things. The governor, I mean, when you look at the process, ideally where we'd love to be influential, I think, is in the House. But that is unlikely in the current political climate in there, I would say. So we have to be influential in the Senate where we can, and then hope that if the Senate can put in what we need them to put in, that they can then hold on to that in conference committee when they go back and kind of reconcile what the House has done, because, I mean, that's where our strengths are right now. And they're also tend to be a little more financially.
Was Lenny put on the House education bill?
No, George Hopkins was.
Who's with me?
He's
both.
the lead.
Is he education?
He was raising on education.
Why can't they have this?
He can. We're actually meeting with him on the 11th. No.
That's changing.
Okay.
But he is going to meet with you.
Yes. Yeah, and he's been tremendously responsive by email, so that's what we've been talking up until now, because with all of our legislators, it's a very busy season. It's hard to think about that.
Newer legislators respond via email because there's fewer people trying to get a hold of them. You can't get to anyone who's been around for a decade. You got to staffers because there's just so many people right connected to that trying to get a hold of them. Yeah, so it's with Rep. Calcourse and Senators together. 2 weeks out. Which again, there's no timeline here about changing anything for our budget. We got to go forward with the assumptions we have. Again, if it's going to be small potatoes, if there's any change this year, again, I would keep saying it's better to take our time and get it right than start rushing things and pretend that it's everyone.
And we can't always go back after the fact if there's some huge windfall and just when we recertify the budget.
Jared will figure it out. I mean, they're awesome. It's never going to happen. It never happened. But yeah. So we would go through the same process. We would amend the budget and submit it to the towns. I'm fairly certain that if we resubmitted a budget to the towns that had a lower assessment, you probably wouldn't waste the time calling a town meeting within 45 days, and it would expire and it would formally approve. So yeah, very similar to use of D&D, same process.
So can you comment on the process going forward for the budget? And what's the next step? Do you have to approve?
Yep, so public hearing was last night. Obviously, as was said several times, not a lot of input for the committee to consider. Individuals only from Raleigh. So the committee will have a meeting next week on March 6th. That is not a regular meeting, so that's just strictly budget deliberation. Give us guidance as far as what we're coming back with on a final budget. Final budget is approved on March 13th. We then submit that and certify that to the towns by Friday the 15th. So this is the first, so this is 10 meetings. So this number is what goes to, on the warrants in April, May. So, and then if we're changing from there, it's that 15.
So we are doing something a little bit different this year, So one of the things that we haven't necessarily heard, but I think we'd be cognizant of, is that the hearing is just a hearing. We literally listen to people who want to make a statement on the record. What there hasn't been is a true opportunity to have question and answer sessions. So we actually set up one drop-in session in each of the towns, although any of the town residents or officials or whoever wants to come can attend them for next week, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, so that we can literally have a true Q&A. So if somebody wants to show up with a budget and say, can you explain this number to me, or can you walk me through it and just show me, what's changed during the year and where the important numbers are that I need to look for. I'm trying to find this, that type of thing, or talk about the programs at the school or anything like that. That one, the 4th here,
So
at
4th
10 a.m.
at 10 a.m. at Raleigh Library at 10 a.m. The 5th, this coming Monday at 10 a.m. in the Raleigh Library. Tuesday, the 5th at 11 a.m. in the Newburytown Library. And Wednesday, the 6th at 1 p.m. in the Salisbury Town.
So how is people not working?
So this was the first, that was the other discussion we had, which was there's always evening meetings, there's never daytime. So this was a deliberate daytime because there aren't ever daytime opportunities. And you know, I sent all my messages in email, or I posted email, Facebook, whatever, to say this is the first attempt. If it's a good response, we'll do late afternoon, early evening, late evening.
We were also very tight this year because we had February vacation last week, which for a lot of families, they go away. And then I was insistent that we have it done by the 6th because there's, I mean, if it's going to have any input on our budget discussions, it pretty much had to happen before that nighttime budget discussion meeting. We needed to have Brian and Michelle there. We wanted to have at least a couple school committee members at each one. So it left us with very few, we needed like a 2.5 hour window, 2 hours.
Right.
We blocked out 2 hours at the site and then traveled. So it was time. It would, yeah.
So we can certainly do more. Again, this was to be able to get some more input. Last night, it was an evening opportunity to provide input, with some daytime. And again, between March 13th and when it's voted in each of the member towns, there's further opportunity for discussion. Taxpayers will vote on the budget as is, even if it doesn't.
So that said, we're rolling up essentially all the discussion that's happened till now, the public hearing information from last night, drop-in sessions from next week, and this meeting, of course. So if you have any additional input at this meeting for us to take back to the 6th, speak now. I mean, I know we talked about it, but, you know, obviously it's ongoing discussions.
I know you've been saying a couple of times tonight at least that 1.721, that's not the figure that's in the working.
The increase?
It's 1.7, I'm sorry. Where did I read it? Oh, I'm thinking.
Yep.
Or the assessments, changing the assessments because of changing the revenues.
Yep.
The changing the assessments is 1.717.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yes. So that's a change in assessments.
Why is it that you have 0 in excess and deficiency? Am I looking at something wrong here?
We're not pulling anything out of excess and deficiency this year. So in the past, when we've had a significant amount of excess and deficiency, we've pulled $50,000,
Is it same
$100,000.
as last year then? Is it
It's 0, okay. We didn't take, last year, or the year before, was the year that we had any amounts ranging from 2 to 3 to 400,000 over the years. Last year we were certified at 299. We ended up by June having the school committee vote because we weren't very confident heading into June that we were going to close the year. We ended up closing within 14,000, so that was recertified. Or you got copies of the current certification is 464. There are 2 issues that we've been talking about routinely. One is improving swipe card access. Our IDs allow us to swipe into the buildings. So there's a software upgrade that's needed
The door's locked.
for district-wide. We can make sure that doors are locked and secure. That's about $25,000. And then we need a facilities assessment at the middle school, high school campus. That is nearing its 20th year of life. I was not around when the project was done. There were a lot of things that I wish were done differently. So we know there's needs. So the first thing we need to do is to do a full engineering assessment, building envelope, internal, external, all the mechanical systems. So we said that roughly 75,000 have a complete study done that will allow us to then put out a 10, 20-year capital plan for that structure. So that 100,000, we're in the works to bring that to the committee for to tap into this year's spending through excess and efficiency. So in essence, we have roughly 350,000. Again, we'll say it again, we should have the recommendation is 3% of operating, which would be about 1.2 million. It's capped at 5%, which would be $1.6 million. There are lots of regions who have those totals. We do not. But it is our only vehicle because there is, as a regional school, we can't go back to the city council for appropriation of additional funds if the student moves in from out of district and has a high cost out of district placement. It is is, you know, it used to be we talk about, you know, a catastrophic roof or HVAC failure. We don't talk about that anymore. We talk about high-cost students moving into our towns because that's what's happening. So with roughly 350 to play with, that's it. That's our only reserve. With stabilization and ability to accommodate if and when those big costs happen.
Yeah, effective, one rating's gone down a little bit, it's going to be B+ now or something?
Yeah. So that was, we did at the last DCC.
Is that the reason I wrote down?
It is. Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I don't want to speak for the committee, but I mean, touching E&D is something that we need to be very cautious about, I think, because of that. I mean, you know, when it was up around 700,000, you would appropriate 100,000 to put it towards the operating budget. I mean, we can't do that anymore, and if this wasn't a situation where we need this capital, then we've been talking about it for 3 years, there's no other place to find that money. So that's something that has to happen. I mean, it's security, and in this day and age, we can't.
So 350 is very too low. Yes, more higher.
Yes. We cannot do security.
Yeah, so we've moved to an A1. And in the report, it notes, as I started talking, I'm not finding it. Yeah, so Newbury's a AA2, Rowley's a AA2, Salisbury's a AA3. So that's AA2 and AA3 is one notch down. And then we were AA3, now we're one notch down to A1. So, and they specifically talk about reserves, last year's budget.
Well, it should be added that we have a negative outlook, which means if we do not turn it around or stop using our E&D or build reserves, we will most likely be downgraded again next year.
And if, we'll assume, in the coming 5 to 10 years, we're going to have to do some capital changes at the middle school, high school campus, that will turn into real dollars. You know, that the final payment on the high school is fiscal 21.
Yes.
So when that debt falls off for the towns, that's a good thing. We have to then go out and solve issues, solve problems, and our rating goes through the roof. We can't do that cost effectively.
Yeah.
It costs the towns more, right?
That's a borrow cost.
Yeah, because again, for the Pine Grove project, Rowley is borrowing, because Rowley is the building. We own Salisbury Elementary, technically, that's why we own the debt. So there's discussion about Salisbury Elementary. The middle school, high school campus, we will always own as the district. So that debt will always have to be in our name, which will go against our rate, which is your rate, because it's ultimately we can have this. So we need reserves. We have to have reserves. Sad
Any other questions or comments?
Alicia, I know we didn't hear anything from the agree last BCC meeting. JR kind of said the budget process was in process and he was going to check. I don't know if we got any,
For what?
just budget in general. That was kind of his.
Yeah, I know, I'm not hearing that it's gonna be an issue.
Okay, the next district communications meeting is on March 21, and we're back in the Triton Library. And I just want to say, I think it was a good idea to meet in the towns 3 times a year, rotate a year. Hope we do that next year.
I agree.
Yeah.
We could even do it 3 more. We have not. We could do it 3 more times this year, and hopefully then there's more Newbury and Salisbury and Rowley, and more Rowley and Newbury and Salisbury. But yeah, we could decide to do March, April, or May. Newbury, Rowley, Salisbury.
Sure.
If we wanted to.
Talk about that in the next meeting.
Well, that would be the next meeting.
That would be the next.
That would be the next meeting.
Which, without representative of the other 2, I see. Yes, we talk about that in the next meeting. April or June.
Yeah. April, May.
That's supposed to be June.
I was going to say, I'm just looking at
You can special one just so
I have
we
one,
can-
but
Just for the purpose.
Brian wants to meet
You don't have enough of
I know I have too many, I can't imagine.